Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Live Talk 2021 with IMU and Deakin University. This is Sze-Yen, your moderator for this live talk. The themes for today is why nutrition is important to our health. We have 4 speakers in total for this session. Professor Dr. Norimah Abdul Karim, Dr. Megan Chong, Dr. Sze-Yen, and Ms. Ning Xingchen. Without further ado, we invite Professor Dr. Norimah Abdul Karim to share with us on her career journey as a nutrition lecturer, the nutrition transition in Malaysia, as well as nutrition and health. Professor Norimah, the floor is now yours.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to this webinar. Well, for the next 10 minutes, I've been given the work to share with you my journey as a nutritionist and lecturer for the last 35 years with University Kebangsaan Malaysia, and my journey continues. So I am now with IMU. So I graduated from Bloomington in USA, and for my PhD, it was in Southampton. So when I first graduated in 1985, that was like ages ago, I started my career as a lecturer in UKM Bangi, and then after a few years, went to do my PhD with Commonwealth Scholarship. And then when I came back, I was transferred to the Nutrition and Dietetics department in UKM, but in Kuala Lumpur, and I stayed there until my retirement. So I worked my way up to become the maximum that I can go as an academician. So was promoted to associate professor in 2000 and to professor in 2010, and then I retired from UKM.
Sorry to interrupt, Prof. Norimah. Would you mind to share your screen in the presenter mode?
Oh, sorry. So sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, so sorry. Now, but how did I get there from a young lecturer all the way to becoming a professor? Of course, as an academician, so it's all about teaching and learning. And during introduction just now, Sze-Yen did a lot to tell you about what I have done. Of course, we nutritionists can do a lot of things. So I was involved in professional bodies, and then I work a lot with the Ministry of Health in the community development in nutrition, for example, taking the chairing of the nutrition research in Malaysia, and also working on the Malaysian dietary guideline. And from the society work, I become expert panels in a lot of nutrition and promotion programs. For example, we have Nutrition Month Malaysia every year in April, positive parenting, healthy kids program with the industry. And also after being very senior in the academics, I get invited to become a board of study in nutrition program for several universities in Malaysia. And also, it is also important that as a lecturer in academics, we get affiliated, your networking, your linkages with not only Malaysian universities in terms of research, in terms of collaboration, consultation. It is nice if we can collaborate with international universities. So I was in India as a visiting professor, and what a lovely experience, So now I have been invited almost yearly by Institute of Pertanian Bogor, invited guest lecturer for the summer course that they do for the last few years. And despite me being in the food industry, in the academic, I do work with food industry, whether it is Malaysian food industry or overseas food industry. So the pictures will show you what I have done over the years. Most of the time speaking at seminars and whatnot, also doing community work, and going to for the NGO Malaysian MASO, and also for Nutrition Society. So in the next few minutes, I will be talking about how food consumption, how Malaysians eat have changed over the years. And in a recent study, it has been shown that Malaysians are now consuming 4 different types of eating pattern, which is the home meal, Chinese traditional, sweetened beverages, sugar and sweetened beverages, and plant foods. And when we look closer, what are the characteristics of home meal? It is always high in white rice, high in sugar, sweetened beverages, and high in non-starchy vegetables. If you follow Chinese traditional, it is high in noodle dishes and high intake of high unsweetened plain tea or coffee. Now, if you follow plant foods pattern, and this will be very good, that means you have a high intake of fruits and non-starchy vegetables. And for this type of pattern, people have a low frequency of eating out. What we do not want, but in reality, this is happening in Malaysia, is people are now following sugar sweetened beverages meal pattern, where basically they have a high intake of sugar sweetened beverages. You have sugar added to your coffee, to tea, and also you use sweetened condensed milk. High intake of cordial and carbonated beverages, and this is basically not good. So if we look at the changes in trend of energy intake and nutrition supply in Malaysia, so for example, we look at the last 34 years from 1980 to 2013. So overall, the energy or the calorie supply was always consistently greater than the average daily requirement that is needed by Malaysians. Hence, in the last 10 to 15 years, we know that the problem of overweight, obesity, and also the non-communicable disease are on the rise. And when we look at protein supply, long time ago, before 1990, Malaysians were eating plant-based protein. But after 1990, animal-based protein had become more significant. And it surpassed vegetarian protein. And that goes along with our high protein from animal, and then problems coming up with NCDs and also overweight and obesity. So generally, we can conclude that there are changes in type of foods consumed. Now, Malaysians are eating a lot of refined carbohydrates, for example, like starches, and sugar, sweetened beverages, condensed milk, cookies, cakes, and all that. Those are refined carbohydrates. We are eating a lot of fried foods, edible oils, vegetable oil, palm oil, and also added sugars in our drinks and in our kueh and cakes and cookies. And now we know also we are eating a lot of a source of protein from the animal. And there is a reduction in legumes and other vegetables. So moving on, so this is why it is very important that we should have a career in nutrition for potential new students, and for parents to understand why a career in nutrition is important, because we know diet and nutrition affect our health, and it affects us from every stage of our life, meaning from the womb to the tomb, from pregnancy all the way to the day we die. So among children, especially, poor nutrition will increase the risk of stunting and also may impair their cognitive development. And for everybody, poor nutrition make you more susceptible to infections, and particularly now when we are so into the pandemic. So we must have good nutrition, and if you don't take care of yourself, it can even lead to death with the many complications of NCD and so on. So we know poor diet and nutrition will expose us to a lot of non-communicable diseases, like, for example, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and also a lot of overweight and obesity. And these are all the many diseases that we have. And what nutrition do is we will teach people to be eating healthily, and more important is it is a prevention, prevent us from getting diseased. Okay, now as consumers, consumers are drivers for nutrition and health. And now Malaysians as consumers, they are more and more believe that foods contribute directly to their health. And some survey carried out also shows that they believe that food and nutrition, exercise, and family history are all very important to have a very healthy health. Okay, this will be like my last slide. So at this time, when the pandemic and all the time, so nutrition plays a lot of role in our immunity, very good immunity, and also in prevention of infectious disease. And I will like to leave this presentation with Pasana to remind everybody to eat healthily, because good nutrition, you can do it by eating a healthy, balanced diet. You must also be physically active and maintain to be physically active. Reduce stress, make sure you get enough sleep, and drinking a lot of water. 2 liters is like 8 glasses of plain water. And of course, avoid alcohol and smoking. With this kind of healthy eating, healthy lifestyle, inshallah, we will be okay and can live very healthily and also will have a long life. So with that, I thank you for listening to me. So I will go back to Dr. Tan. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Professor Norimah, for the very inspiration sharing. We now invite Dr. Megan Chong to share with us on her career journey and the nutrition program of IMU. Dr. Megan Chong Hueh Zan is a senior lecturer and the program director for IMU Bachelor of Science Honours Nutrition Programs. She completed her PhD in Nutritional Science and her undergraduate study in Nutrition and Community Health from University Putra, Malaysia. Dr. Megan joined IMU in the year of 2010 and played key roles in the development and launch of the IMU nutrition curriculums. Besides teaching and academic management, Dr. Megan is an active researcher. Her research interests include vitamin D in prevention of diseases, bone health, nutrition in maternal and child health, as well as chemopreventive properties of tropical herbal plants. She is one of the recipients of the Ministry of Higher Education Fundamental Research Grant Scheme, FRGS, for her vitamin D research and is a co-researcher in multiple international and national research activities. Dr. Megan was appointed as a research fellow at the Centre for Environmental and Population Health, IMU Institute for Research, Development and Innovation, ERDI. In addition, Dr. Megan is also a member in the Technical Working Group for the Development of Dietary Guidelines for Elderly, Ministry of Health Malaysia, and a committee member for revision of Malaysian Dietary Guidelines for Children and Adolescents. Over to you, Dr. Megan.
Thank you, Dr. Tan, for that kind introduction. Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We have heard from our Professor Norimah, our first speaker, on her wonderful 35 years of career journey. I will be just sharing with you some of my academic and also work experience. So I actually hail from a small town in Malacca. I spent more than about 20 years of my life there. I'm actually a proud alumna of MGS, Methodist Girls School, where I received my primary and secondary education there. Before I completed my sixth form in SMK Gajah Berang. So the following year, I received an offer to do an undergraduate studies in UC Putra, Malaysia, UPM Serdang. I was amongst the few lucky ones who got an offer to do the program of my choice. So after 3 years of a wonderful varsity life, I actually graduated in nutrition and community health in the year 2006. Yeah, I went out to work before deciding to pursue my PhD studies. After much blood, sweat, and tears, I managed to complete my PhD studies in the year 2010. Right. As mentioned earlier, when I complete my undergraduate studies, I actually went out to work. I was with Fonterra Brands as a nutritionist. So I supported their child nutrition marketing activities, yeah, throughout Malaysia. So it was a tiring experience, but very wonderful experience. I also spent some time working as a nutritionist with Kinsmatics Berhad, a company that specializes in point of care devices, yeah, including Omron. My third experience working as a nutritionist was in a nutrition and health supplement company, where I was very amazed with the massive line of products that they carry. It was also during that time that I met a lot of people who are very hungry for evidence-based science. So I realized that with so many conflicting information online, that there is this strong need, for health professionals who can impart the right messages, the right knowledge, and also to be able to translate all this evidence-based nutrition to the public. So with that in mind, and also that was one of my strongest motivator, yeah, to pursue a PhD. So I wanted to further understand the role of food, nutrition towards human health, and with a particular interest, yeah, special interest towards functional food, nutraceuticals, bioactive compounds. So that is why in my PhD studies, I actually researched on chemopreventive activities of our available local herbs and spices. So upon graduation or completion of my PhD, I've had my true calling, I found my true calling, and I actually joined the academic world. So I joined IMU. Yeah. So being in academic faculty, I was still able to continue my ambition towards knowledge seeking, my passion in research, and also continue, yeah, my love to impart knowledge and also mentoring the young professionals, yeah, to be the best version of who they can be. Yeah. So last year, I actually celebrated 10 years anniversary working in IMU. Yeah, with a blink of eye, time flies. Yeah, it has been 10 years. Now, when I look myself in the mirror, I see more gray hairs and more wrinkles coming up. Yeah, but nevertheless, it has been a very fruitful, rewarding journey. Never a day that I woke up, that I regret choosing nutrition as a career or being in the academic world. Yeah, so I hope I have managed to convince this short time, yeah, managed to convince some of the young ones to really consider a career in nutrition. It's very rewarding. Yeah, for you to be able to practice as a nutritionist, yeah, you would then have to complete your undergraduate training in nutrition. Well, here in IMU, our IMU nutrition course is actually a 3-year course, yeah, with 2 enrollment in a year, July and September. We started in the year 2013, and since then, yeah, we have graduated 7 cohorts of students since inception. Right. Here are some of the stories, success stories of our alumni. Many are doing very well in the corporate world, and we do have a handful, yeah, who is very business centric and having this entrepreneurial mindset, yeah, that lead them to establish food and nutrition companies with the aims to provide this healthier food, making healthier food available for all. Yeah, we are also very proud to share that 100% of our alumni secure employment, yeah, within 6 months of their completion of studies. This is also true, yeah, for our last year batch that graduated in the midst of COVID-19, right? So here are where our alumni currently working, whether it is in local and also abroad. Many are actually in the health and wellness setting, including food and nutrition companies, nutrition and health supplement companies, wellness center, pharmacy, and also pharmaceutical companies. We also have a few who is now very successful, are very successful in nutrition communication companies. All right. So for those who are thinking to or interested to spend some time abroad, you can actually opt for our credit transfer program, the IMU credit transfer program to Deakin University, Australia. So students who opt for this credit transfer pathway will spend the first 4 semesters with us here in IMU before transferring directly to the 3rd year program in Deakin, Australia. All right. So being able to directly transfer to the 3rd year of Deakin's program actually is a testament of quality of our curriculum and our teaching methodology. We have a 3rd speaker today here with us, Dr. Sze-Yen. He will be taking us through more details about studying in Australia later. Okay, this is actually my last slide. I hope within that short period of time, I have managed to convince some of you to really consider a career in nutrition. Right, with this, I thank you. I shall pass back the floor back to you, Dr. Tan.
Thanks, Dr. Megan, for the sharing. We now invite Dr. Sze-Yen to share with us on his career journey, the credit transfer option, and also studying in Australia. Dr. Sze-Yen is an advanced accredited practicing dietitian and the Deputy Course Director of Bachelor of Nutrition Science at Deakin University, Australia. He completed his Bachelor of Dietetics at University Kebangsaan Malaysia, Master and PhD degrees at the University of Wollongong, Australia, and postdoctoral training at Pujo University, USA. Dr. Tan teaches lifespan nutrition and diet and disease in the undergraduate and postgraduate nutrition programs at Deakin University. He is also an active researcher where his research focuses on finding effective dietary strategies that promote healthy body weight and optimal metabolic health in adults. Dr. Tan, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tan. Good afternoon, everyone. It is such a pleasure for me to speak to you today. And it's also it means a lot for me to talk to a Malaysian audience as well, given, as mentioned by Dr. Tan just now, I'm originally from Malaysia. So you have heard very interesting perspectives and overview from Professor Norimah and also from Dr. Megan Chong today about, why nutrition is important to human health. And today I'm going to talk to you on a slightly different topic, still on nutrition, but from a different perspective. So for my talk today, I'm going to focus on becoming a nutritionist from an international perspective, specifically focusing on my own experience, how I get to where I am today. So I'll start with a quick sharing of my education and career pathway. So I put it in a diagram, as you can see on the slide here, just to show you chronologically from left to right, how I started from my bachelor degree at Malaysia. Specifically, I studied Bachelor of Dietetics at UKM. And after that, the opportunity presented itself to me, and I grabbed the opportunity and decided to go abroad and did my master's and PhD in Australia at University of Wollongong. So I was qualified as a nutritionist and also a dietitian after my master's degree. And also I completed my PhD in 2010, which is around the same time as Dr. Megan Chong. So since the graduation, my graduation from my PhD in nutrition, I have been living and working in different countries. So as you can see from the slide here, I went to America. I worked for a few years in America before I came back to Australia, working as a lecturer in dietetics in Adelaide. And after that, I took on the opportunity to work as a senior research fellow, focusing on just doing research to support or to provide evidence to support nutrition practice to promote health. I was there for a couple of years before I took on my current position and came to Australia, back to Australia again, and I've been settled in Melbourne since then. So I'm currently a senior lecturer in nutrition, and I'm also the deputy course director for our bachelor degree in nutrition. So I hope this gives you an overview of how I become a nutritionist. And throughout my career, I always get asked a lot about, how is it like being a male nutritionist? So I'm going to share with you some of my own perspective and my understanding of, whether or not there's any advantage or disadvantage becoming a male nutritionist. I guess the reason why people ask this question, after I've spoken to a few people, I was told that most of the time people misunderstood what a nutritionist does. And they basically think about nutritionists as people who, for example, teach people about cooking, about modifying recipes, and hence they have the perception that, it's probably more a female kind of a profession. But in my own experience as a nutritionist, I know that is not true. And as Dr. Megan presented just now, there are so many different career options apart from, working and talking about modifying your recipe to become healthier. There are so many other things that you can do. So in my opinion, nutrition is definitely suitable for males, even though it is a very female-dominated career profession at the moment. And in fact, I want to also correct the incorrect perception that nutrition is only about food. It's actually more than that, and it is actually a science-based professional degree. And the reason why I say this is that I want to share with you that when we study for nutrition or to become a nutritionist, there are certain competencies that we have to develop over during our degree. And as you can see from the gray box here, you can see that we learn about a lot of things other than, just food. We learn about biology, we learn about chemistry, we learn about the food and the food system. We also learn about nutrition governance, for example, around policy that promotes healthy eating. So as you can see here, there's nothing that shouts, this is only suitable for males or for females. And more importantly, we also talk about, there are certain sets of skills that we need to develop to become, to be more successful in our career as well. And again, as you can see here, there are so many skills that will help along the way in becoming a good nutritionist. And again, nothing specific about, this is only for females or this is only for males. So I encourage you to think about this as a potential career in the future, regardless of whether or not you are a male or a female. So another thing that I would like to share with you today is what did I actually gain from my overseas experience, not only in terms of education, but also in terms of my working experience as well. So I've been thinking about this in the last few years, trying to reflect on my journey. And there are a few things that I would like to highlight here with you. So for example, you get to experience different styles of learning. So you can, if you decide to do the 2+1 degree, then you can compare, how you learn about nutrition in 2 different countries. So that's always an advantage. You get international perspectives about nutrition, how different disease is being prevented in different countries. And for myself, I built my network, I experienced new culture, I improve on my language skills, and I feel more confident in public speaking as well. So those were some of the things that I gained. So I hope I have convinced you about studying nutrition and also why think about studying abroad. And as Dr. Megan Chong mentioned just now, we have this 2+1 program put in place. And if you are interested, I'm going to show you a few facts about Deakin University. So Deakin University is located in Victoria. So this is the part we are in now in Australia. And we have a number of campuses, as you can see from here. And if you decide to come over for your final year at Deakin University, you would come to the Burwood campus, which is the largest campus for Deakin University. And I just want to entice you with, thinking about coming to Deakin as well. These are some of the buildings, the funky buildings that we have at the Burwood campus. And also, finally, I want to share with you what you would be doing in your final year. So because of the agreement that we have with IMU, when you come to Deakin for your final year, basically you just need to complete 4 core units plus 4 elective units. And we have a range of very interesting elective units that you can select in order to meet your own interests. So for example, if you like sports nutrition, or if you like to do something more around the product development, for example, food safety. So we have a range of different subjects that you can take. So I would like to conclude my presentation today with a quote from a famous chemist in America, Linus Pauling, who said that good nutrition will prevent 95% of all disease. He said that at least 50, 60 years ago, and it is still true today. So think about the impact that you can make by becoming a nutritionist, and I hope to work with you in the future if you decide to study nutrition. Thank you very much. I'll hand it back to you, Dr. Tan.
Thanks very much, Dr. Tan, for the sharing. Next, we invite Ms. Ning Xingchen to share with us on her teaching and learning experiences in IMU. Ms. Ning Xingchen is IMU Bachelor of Science Honours Nutrition alumni from the year of 2017 intake. Xingchen was one of the top nutrition students from her cohort. Xingchen did her final year internship program in a health and wellness company, where she was able to showcase her knowledge and skills in the area related to maternal and child nutrition. Upon her graduation, she was greatly offered a position with the company. Today, Xingchen coaches junior nutritionists in the company. She, being a passionate nutritionist, feels that many more effort can be done to improve the nutrition well-being of Malaysian children. Over to you, Ms. Ng.
Thank you, Dr. Tan. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Okay, hello, how is everyone doing? I forgot that you are all muted. Can let me know in the chat box, okay? Okay, so hello everyone, I'm Ning Xingchen. I'm a nutrition graduate from IMU. So first of all, I would like to thank the faculty for having me here today. It feels very good to be back. And it reminded me of how I started this nutrition journey in IMU. Well, my reason is actually as typical as all my other batchmates, is that we all love food and we believe that food can actually impact and influence human health, if not the quality of life. Okay. So this is an overview of my sharing today. I will be sharing my experience mainly based on the modules that I have taken, and this is some of the modules that I would like to particularly highlight to all of you. The first one would actually be the principles of food preparation. So calling all the master chefs out there, this will be the module that you will actually enjoy a lot. It actually gave me the opportunity to experiment with different types of recipes and also cooking method, as well as see how different chemicals can actually cause a difference in the food product. So there's too many photos, so I'll just selected a few for you guys to see. So we actually cook different types of food, the carbs, the protein, vegetables. So the next one is actually food security and sustainable nutrition. We studied about how climate changes has actually caused an impact on the food security and thus affected the sustainability in our food sources. So for this one, actually, my group actually went to Pulau Ketam, we visited a fish farm. And then we interviewed the owner and studied about how these climate changes has actually affected the marine biology and thus affecting one of the most important food protein source, which is the seafood. Sorry. And then we actually created a video out of this. It is a video to enhance the awareness on how we should prevent climate changes and how it has actually impacted the seafood. Well, and the next, this is a group photo. And the next one would be diet, lifestyle, and non-communicable diseases. For this module, we learned a lot about non-communicable diseases, different types of it. And then we were given different kinds of case scenarios, like for example, this client, she has obesity, or he or she has hypertension, and what are the recipes that we can actually modify and recommend to them. So this module particularly actually helped me personally a lot when I was giving my nutritional counseling to my clients later on, because it enhanced the creativity and also help us to learn about the practicality when you suggest the menus to your client. Okay, here are some of the photos and also the menus. And the next one is actually food service management. So for this one, we actually work in a big group, a group of 10, and we were required to plan a whole food service project from A to Z, sorry. So meaning that you have to think of the menu, what kind of food you would like to serve, and then how you want to serve it. And then you have to go and purchase the ingredients, and then you have to manage your profit and losses to make sure that you don't overspend and then end up you don't earn anything. And then you have to think of how to market your product. You see, we created this amazing poster here. And here are some of the photos that this is the ticket. So this is how we sell them. We everyone who purchased our food, they will be given this ticket. And then this is the experimenting period when we were cooking the food. So it's a lot of fun, and it actually helped me a lot as well towards my career in my current company, because I learned more on the project management, and I learned how to manage the profit and losses and how to juggle between things. So in my semester 5, this is the photos of my data collection. So in our semester 5, we were required to conduct our own research. And then my research is on the topic, the colonic fermentation of isomaltulose in healthy Malaysian adults. I would say that this is definitely the most challenging part of my nutrition journey in IMU, because I could still remember each and every detail until now, from defending a proposal up to this planning and also data collection, and until completing a thesis. These pictures are actually taken during my data collection, whereby I'm testing on 2 parameters, which is the breath hydrogen as well as the fecal pH. So I would say that research actually equipped me a lot in terms of the project management skills, and also it helped to sharpen my critical thinking as well as the ability to work independently. And this is an e-poster that I have done. And then these are some of the career opportunities that I've actually went to look up. And then lastly, I chose to venture into this nutrition and communication because of the wonderful experience that I have experienced in my final semester, which I will share next. Okay. So this slide will actually sums up my last semester, which is the placement and also the internship in my current company. So we started our practicum in Klinik Kesihatan, and we were offered various types of opportunity to conduct different types of health promoting events. and we were given the opportunity to give nutritional counseling to our clients, and also we conducted educational talks and health promotional events. So as you can see in the picture, it's actually some of a group of children, and we are teaching them how to eat healthily and what are the different food types. And you can see my batchmate there. She's actually showing about vegetables and how important it is. And then the picture on the right is actually the healthy steam cake. So this is actually another opportunity for us to learn how to suggest healthy recipes and also to suggest to different types of people. And lastly, in the later part of my practicum, I actually was given the chance to perform my internship in my current company. So I was given a whole platform to educate on nutrition in maternal and child health, and also mainly focusing on how to teach the pregnant mummies and also how to teach parents with children on healthy eating. Well, so looking back, I really enjoyed the 3 years journey with IMU. Besides preparing me well on the nutrition skill, I also met interesting people and also a bunch of good friends throughout the journey. And I would say that I definitely have grown throughout the years and developed my soft skills through various types of extracurricular activities like sports and clubs as well. So for those who are interested in health and food, you can certainly consider a career in the nutrition field. So with that, I end my sharing here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ng, for the sharing. I would like to take this opportunity to share and congratulate Ms. Ng for winning the Nutrition Society of Malaysia Undergraduate Poster Competition First Prize in the year of 2020, and also Nutrition Society of Malaysia Undergraduate Thesis Prize in the year of 2021. Well done, Ms. Ng.
Thank you.
We now move on to the Q&A session, where we will pose the questions that we have received from the audience to the speaker. So I would like to check if all the speakers are ready for the questions.
Sure, Dr. Tan.
Okay. The first question is to Prof Norimah. What are the roles of nutritionists in the society? Over to you, Prof Norimah.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Tan. Well, as all the three other speakers and beside myself, we know that nutrition is a lot about healthy eating and prevention of all the population in Malaysia and around the world from getting diseased. So from all the career opportunities that graduates in nutrition can do, nutritionists have a lot of role. Actually, it's just where you are inclined to. Like for me, maybe in academics for all our speakers, but of course, like Ms. Ng already mentioned, there are so many places that a nutritionist can do in the health, in the pharmaceutical, in the food industry, also even the sports science, and so on and so forth. So basically a lot you can do as your career as a nutritionist in the society. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof Norimah. We have a second question to Dr. Megan. What would students study in IMU nutrition course? Dr. Megan?
Thank you, Dr. Tan. In IMU nutrition program, we are a 3-year course. So during the first semester and also semester 2, when you come in the first year, you'll be doing some of the basic sciences module. So that is to further gear your understanding towards the fundamental sciences and how it actually impacts nutrition and also food intake. All right. So when you moved on to a second year, you'll be doing more core nutrition modules, right, to learn up all those technical skills. How do you do dietary assessment? How do you do anthropometric physical assessment? How do you then do some interpretation in terms of what are the nutrition needs of the community. Yeah. So some of the modules that you'll be doing, like what Xingchen has also highlighted, are like NCDs, and also community nutrition, health promotions, and all that. Yeah. So during the second year is where we truly gear the students, towards acquiring all the technical skills and also preparing them, to apply all this skill set in their practice later on. So it's also during the second year that we have some of the aspects to develop the business acumen of the students, where we introduce the students to what is of a few modules, including nutrition marketing, functional foods, and also entrepreneur module. Yeah, this is for those who are truly and also wanting to establish their own food industry or food companies or food startups out there later on, right? So of course the final year, like what Ms. Ng has shared, you'll be spending some time out there in the clinic kesihatan placement for 10 weeks, and also then followed by the long 16 weeks of industry placement, where we hope that you will be able to apply all this skill set knowledge that you have acquired to the real world setting. And this placement is also to gear you up and prepare you to make you work ready for once you enter the workforce. Okay, Dr. Tan?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Megan. All right, we have the third question is to Dr. Tan. All right, what is the employment opportunity for nutritionists in Australia? Over to you, Dr. Tan.
Thank you, Dr. Tan. It is a very good question. So, of course, when we study something, we want to know the prospect of studying that particular degree. As mentioned by Prof Norimah and also Dr. Megan, they gave us some very good examples of the areas that you can go into. So in Australia or in Malaysia, they are very, very similar. So for example, you can work in the public health arena, you can work in media writing, for example, you can work in the food industry. So they are very, very similar in that sense. In terms of working in Australia after you graduate, if you decide to do the 2+1 program and study with us. So there's always this option where you can get your visa extension to work in Australia if you decide to do so. However, there's a prerequisite to meet in order to get that visa. So for example, you need to study full-time for 2 years in Australia in order to be granted that. So that's one of the several options that you can go with. Another option is, of course, if you can find a company who's willing to, hire you and sponsor you, then of course that's another common pathway as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tan. The next question is to Ms. Ng. Right, what drew you towards a career in nutrition, Ms. Ng?
Okay. I like the idea of actually helping people. I found myself having a growing interest in nutrition and the impact that food has on our health. So I wanted to help more people to eat well and also to improve their quality of life through the food that they eat. And healthy eating and good nutrition is so important in all stages of life. So from the growing child and towards the maintaining health and preventing diseases among the adults up to the old folks.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Ng. We have another question is to Dr. Tan and Dr. Megan. Right, how is a nutritionist different from a dietitian in the workforce? Can a nutritionist work in the clinical setting like a dietitian? Maybe over to Dr. Tan first.
Thank you. Thanks for the question. Again, very, very good question. So from my perspective, they are, as the Malaysian saying, same but different. So they all draw on the same knowledge base. So, nutritionists and dietitians, we use similar set of knowledge. But the main difference between nutrition and dietetic is that nutrition is more focused in the area of prevention. So we want to promote healthy eating in order to prevent a disease before it happens. whereas dietetic is more managing the disease through dietary intervention. So you can see it as after a disease occurs. So dietetic, for example, dietitians, they are trained to do dietary counseling. They can look at individual food intake and do modification from there. Whereas nutritionist is more public health, population health kind of approach. Megan, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Tan. Yeah, I think just to add up a little bit, yeah, to add on to that. Yeah, in Malaysia, the two professions are two separate professions, yeah, professional professions. So they are, they have a different job function. Yeah, the main job functions would differ between the nutritionist and also the dietitian. So like what Dr. Tan has mentioned, the nutritionists work very much more on prevention of diseases or to promote health and overall well-being as the mainstream of their job functions. Yeah, whilst the dietitians, like what Dr. Tan has rightly pointed out, they are more in terms of management and also prescribing the diets, yeah, for individuals with conditions, already with condition, and also to help them to be better or to recover from the conditions. Yeah, that's all.
Could I just add quickly?
Sure.
I think there was also another question about whether or not a nutritionist can work in a clinical setting like a dietitian. So the short answer is no. So you have to become a dietitian in order to work in a clinical setting. However, there's always this option about studying nutrition where you can still do become a consultant, where your consultation with the client is mainly on promoting healthy intake, meaning making sure that they meet their nutritional needs at different stages of their life. So it's not so much on managing a disease condition, but more on meeting nutrition requirement.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Tan and Dr. Megan. All right, we have a next question is to Ms. Ng. How have the COVID-19 pandemic affected your practice as a nutritionist? Ms. Ng?
Okay. I think more people, to me, it's like I realize that more people are starting to realize the importance of good nutrition in building strong immunity. We have more clients coming forward to wanting to know more about healthy diets and also incorporating more vitamins and minerals to enhance their immunity. So especially the pregnant mummies and also mummies with young children, they would particularly want to know more about how they can build strong immunity within themselves as well as on their children. So in the company that I am working with, we used to have physical roadshows and health promotional activities, which are all offline. But due to the pandemic, we are going to have to move everything to online. And we try to disseminate as much information, health promotional information about healthy eating and also good nutrition through our platform, Facebook, Instagram. So it's a really good thing that during my last year in IMU, the classes and also learning activities were converted to online mode. So we actually had some online workshops and also discussion with our lecturers and preceptors. So having to conduct online community nutrition and health promotional activities is now a breeze. And with that experience, I think that I am now more prepared for this digital nutrition world. And also I am more confident in terms of delivering a digital nutrition educational session and consultation, diet assessment using the softwares and applications to develop nutritional educational material. I would say that actually digital health and digital nutrition would be the future trend in a few years.
Okay, thanks very much, Ms. Ng. All right, we have the next question to Prof Norimah. What is allied health profession and how will it affect the practice of nutrition in the country? Prof Norimah?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tan. Well, this Allied Health Professional Act has been cooking in the oven for so very long. And from what I know, Ministry of Health, yeah, the Allied Health Professional Division they've been thinking about this act now it is slowly going to fruition. Yeah. So I think in about hopefully a year or two, now every nutritionist, yeah, those graduates in nutrition, you must have the allied health professional STEM sort of. You have to apply to become an allied health professional for you to become a certified nutritionist, where you are allowed to put behind your name, for example, Miss Ning Xingchen, you will have a registered nutritionist at the back there. So this in a way would protect our profession. You know, if you see now, every Mary, Joe, and Nancy can be a nutritionist. You know, they just take a certificate for 3 weeks, they do a short course for 3 months, and they are considering themselves as certified nutritionists. And we do not want to happen that to happen to our profession. So all graduates, you will get the certified, and only this kind of graduate can practice nutrition. So that's how important allied health professional act is. Okay.
Thanks very much, Prof Norimah. We have one more question, is to Dr. Tan and also for Dr. Megan. What are the essential skills required to be a successful nutritionist? I guess Dr. Tan and Dr. Megan can actually share with us from a different perspective from Australia and also for Malaysia. Yeah, maybe this round we open for Dr. Megan first.
Sure. Thank you for that question. Very important, yeah, because we are all preparing for the future, isn't it? Yeah, so among those that, of course, yeah, being a nutritionist, the technical skills are important, but beyond that, yeah, the soft skills are also very important. Yeah, the ability to communicate, yeah, and have good even interpersonal skill, interpersonal conversation, communication skills, yeah, are very important. And the ability to translate, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, to translate all those scientific evidence to lay language, you know. So when we read journal articles or we conduct research, things can be very technical. So then how do we explain, yeah, or interpret all this kind of scientific results to anyone, to the public, to your neighbors, to your siblings, yeah. So that is also a rather important skills, I would say. And of course, the other important skills that I believe, yeah, is also is on project management. Yeah, many of the nutritionists out there are tasked to either plan and also to implement or to assess the implementation of certain projects and community projects and health promotion activities. So having this project management skills is actually very important for you to be able to, even, you know, from the initial stage of planning, you know, and also knowing your resources, budgeting, you know, how much manpower or resources that you need, and then even put in place, yeah, what are the monitoring, yeah, to track your own progress and also deliveries of your goals and also your activities. Yeah, so I think those are the amongst a few very essential skills, yeah, that a nutritionist in future will need. And of course, one that Xingchen has already rightly pointed out is these either multimedia and also you know, technology skills, yeah, because everyone is gearing towards this kind of a digital consultation or you know, meeting over you know, having a conversation or counseling session over online platforms and all that. Yeah, Dr. Tan, please help me to add on.
I think you have covered most important, all the important skills that nutritionists will find useful in their career. I guess one thing that I can add to that is it really depends on what area you intend to work in the future. So for example, if you work in nutrition governance, where your job is about coming up with policies and implementing policies, it's very important for you to have the skills to influence people, to convince people why it's needed. And along with that, you need critical skills to, you know, bring in the evidence in order to convince people. So nutrition is an area where it changes all the time. So as we do more research, we learn more about nutrition and what's good for our health, and it changes from time to time. And the very important skill to have is the ability to know where to get the information, how to read the evidence, and then how to translate it in your job. So it relates to the project management skills that Dr. Megan was talking about, and also it links to the communication skill as well. So at the end of the day, you need to convince people, either it's the government to give you more funding or to support your health promotion, or even your client to change based on your advice.
All right, thank you very much to all the 4 speakers that spent their time with us today. We have now come to the end of today's session. Bye-bye and have a great evening ahead.